Welcome to the Shy and Fearful Dog module. In this module, we are going to be reviewing the reasons for shyness or fearfulness, reading a dog's body language, how to get started with a shy or fearful dog, management techniques, and the do's and don'ts of working with a shy or fearful dog. Shy or fearful behavior can stem from a variety of things. While it can be beneficial to understand the reason for your dog's behavior, it is also important that we don't create a false backstory for our dogs to describe their past. Instead, the purpose of this module is to work towards helping our dogs become more comfortable and successful family members regardless of their past. One cause for shy or fearful behavior is a new environment. As you may be able to imagine, moving from a shelter to a foster home or multiple foster homes and then to an adopted home can be challenging for dogs. Each time a dog moves to a new environment, they have to readjust to new people, animals, smells, sights, and sounds, and all of this can be very overwhelming. Additionally, under-socialization may play a role in your dog's behavior. It is critical that dogs are socialized from an early age so that they can be well-adjusted adults. However, due to circumstances that are sometimes out of our control, this isn't always possible. For instance, when a 3-year-old dog enters the shelter, we generally won't know their socialization history. The good news is, though, that many of our puppies are fairly blank slates when it comes to socialization. If you have adopted or are fostering a puppy, socialization should begin the minute the dog enters your home. This socialization period is so important, and if done well, can make such a difference in your dog's behavior as they transition into adulthood. It is also important to remember that some causes for behavior are truly out of our control, like genetics. Genetics can play a large role in canine behavior, and while we cannot change our dog's genetic makeup, we can still do our best to work on coping or management skills to get them more comfortable. If a dog has never been exposed to a situation, they may also display shy or fearful behaviors. The majority of our dogs are brand new to the city, and all of the sights and sounds can be extremely scary. Many of them have never even heard a siren or a car honking before. Lastly, a dog may be shy or fearful due to a traumatic experience. These experiences can really vary in severity, and something that seems inconsequential to us may have been extremely scary for our dogs. For example, a dog may have been completely restrained for a nail trim, and now they're fearful of this procedure. Or perhaps you took your dog on a walk and an off-leash dog ran up to them and bit on their ear, so now your dog is nervous around other dogs while walking. The possibilities are truly endless. If we know the root cause of the exact experience that caused the shy or fearful behavior, we can then work towards managing it to help our dogs. However, as we talked about earlier, be sure not to create a backstory for your dog, as the majority of them have not experienced abuse, cruelty, or neglect. Now let's quickly review what a fearful or shy dog's body language looks like. For a more in-depth overview, be sure to check out our canine body language module. It is always important to read any dog's body language to better understand what they are trying to tell us. While we cannot speak each other's language, dogs use their entire body to communicate, and over time we have come to a better understanding of this unspoken language. When reading a dog's body language, you should take note of the entire animal, which includes their eyes, fur, mouth, tail, and ears. A fearful or shy dog generally displays very clear body language cues, including a tucked tail, excessive panting, hiding, lip licking, a lowered head, and/or growling or showing teeth. A dog may display just one of these cues or multiple at once to express what they are feeling. And it is our responsibility as dog parents and fosters to always listen to what our dogs are trying to tell us with their body language so that we can keep them safe. If you've just brought home a shy or fearful dog or are considering doing so, there are a number of things that you can do off the bat to set them up for success in their new home. The general rule of thumb is that every dog requires some type of decompression period when they enter a new environment, and this is especially true for shy or fearful dogs. It is typical for these dogs to have a longer decompression period than a more outgoing, happy-go-lucky dog. Therefore, setting your dog up for success is crucial. Before your dog comes home, set up a crate so that your dog has a comfortable space to rest and retreat to as needed. The crate should always be viewed by your dog as a safe space. For the first week or so, keep your dog's leash clipped to their collar and allow it to drag on the floor as they explore their new surroundings. A dragging leash will allow you to safely lead your dog out of a situation without getting too close to their face. While it can sometimes be our first instinct, remember to never grab your dog's collar. That's what your dragging leash is for. Go slow and allow your dog to explore their new surroundings on their own terms. While it is tempting to want to cuddle your dog right away, it's best to let a dog approach you on their own terms so that they feel comfortable and confident. Similarly, although it is such an exciting feeling to bring home a new dog and shower them with love off the bat, hold off on large celebrations or gatherings. It is important to allow your dog to settle in and experience all of the new sights and sounds in their current space before adding additional stimuli. And finally, always be sure to reward your dog even for the smallest of victories. It is important to keep all interactions with new people and animals positive so that your dog develops the confidence they need to flourish in their new home. Once your dog has settled in and you're ready to explore some management techniques, there are a few different things to try. The techniques that we will talk about here are just two of the many techniques that a professional trainer might recommend. The first is called desensitization, which is the process of exposing a dog to stimulus or triggers at a very low level until they do not have a reaction. One example of this would be working with a dog who is fearful of a certain noise, such as a squeaky toy. You might play the noise at an almost inaudible level and reward your dog for not displaying a reaction when they hear the sound. Over time, you would continue to increase the volume ever so slightly and continue to reward your dog for practicing a calm behavior, for instance lying on a mat, and not having a reaction. Desensitization must be taken very slowly and should never be rushed. Another technique is called counter-conditioning. Counter-conditioning involves changing your dog's fearful response to a stimulus or trigger to a positive one. An example of this might be a dog who typically lunges and barks at other dogs on a walk. By giving this dog a high-value treat like cheese each time he sees the other dog and remains calm, you will teach the dog to appropriately respond in a calm manner when they see another dog. Counter-conditioning also requires constant repetition and patience. With both of these techniques, if rushed, training will be ineffective. Additionally, it is critical that you never punish your dog for displaying a fearful response. As with any training, always end on a positive note. We always recommend working with a professional certified trainer if you need support. While desensitization and counter-conditioning may seem simple in theory, it is always helpful to have a trainer's guidance and expertise along the way. They are an extremely valuable resource and can help you make a training plan to set your dog up for success. Sometimes shy or fearful dogs may require veterinary intervention in addition to training. If you're working with a trainer, they may recommend a veterinary consult to determine if medication may help your dog and supplement training. If you find yourself in this position, we suggest working with a veterinarian who has behavioral experience and is comfortable prescribing behavioral therapies. Your trainer may even have some veterinarian recommendations themselves from other clients. Now that you have a better understanding of shy and fearful dogs, let's quickly walk through some do's and don'ts. Do. Always take it slow. It's exciting to bring home a new dog, but the slower you take it initially, the more successful your dog will be in the long run. Allow your dog to approach new people and animals on their own terms. It could be dangerous to rush these interactions. Provide your dog with their own safe space from the get-go. This might be a crate or a playpen. If you know your dog's triggers, hold off on exposing your dog to them. You'll want to work with a trainer on desensitization or counter-conditioning, and both of these management techniques require slow exposure. Interactions with new people or animals should always be controlled and ideally outdoors so that everyone is in a neutral space. If you are using a walking device like a harness, always back it up to your dog's collar using a carabiner. In the event that your dog slips out of the harness, you won't lose them. Don'ts. Never force your dog to interact with people or other animals if they seem uncomfortable. Read your dog's body language and help them by removing them from a situation if they feel uncomfortable. Don't yell or use a high-pitched voice. Both of these tones can scare a dog. Instead, speak in a soft, calm tone even if you feel frustrated. Dogs can feel intimidated by direct eye contact, so do not stare at them. Avert your gaze and keep your eyes soft. Remember that direct eye contact is something that humans prefer, but dogs do not. Never force your dog into an uncomfortable situation. This is similar to not forcing them to meet new people or animals. If your dog is nervous in crowds, don't bring them to a local parade, as this flooding of triggers will not help them overcome their fears. It is important not to lean over your dog, as your own body language may be perceived as intimidating. Always get down at your dog's level rather than approaching them from above. Similarly, don't pick up a fearful dog. While some fearful dogs may just retreat when scared, others may growl, snap, or bite. A dog's fearful response varies depending on the individual, so it's best to play it safe. We hope that you've learned a lot about better understanding, managing, and setting up your shy or fearful dog for success. As always, remember that when in doubt, always consult with a professional certified trainer to help guide and support you and your dog. Helping these dogs come out of their shells is truly rewarding when they are given some time and patience, and we hope that this module has provided some helpful tips and tricks as you navigate fostering or adoption of a shy or fearful dog.